the duel that decided Rome's fate in the days when Rome was still young, during the reign of King Tullus Hostilius. A storm was brewing. The once friendly bond between Rome and her sister city, Alba Longa, was unraveling. Though they shared blood, language, and even marriage ties, a bitter quarrel now threatened to ignite war. As tensions flared, both cities prepared for battle. King Tullus led the Roman legions, while the Albans marched under their stern commander, dictator Medius Fufadius. But just as the armies stood face to face, steel drawn and hearts pounding, a message arrived at the Roman camp. Medius wished to speak not as an enemy, but as a man seeking a better way. Tullus, young, proud, and eager for glory, could have refused, but he listened. And so, between the two great hosts, the leaders met on the field. Medius raised his hand and spoke. "Why must we spill the blood of thousands to learn which city is greater? Let us find another way. Let a few brave men fight for the fate of all. Let their courage decide who shall lead." King Tullus nodded. It was bold. It was Rome. They agreed. 3 warriors from each city would fight to the death. If the Romans won, Alba would serve Rome. If the Albans triumphed, Rome would bow to Alba. From the Roman ranks stepped 3 brothers, the Horatii, sons of Publius Horatius, raised to value honor, duty, and the life of the Republic above all. Across the field, the Albans chose 3 of their own, the Curiti, noble young men strong of arm and loyal to their homeland. But fate had cruelly twisted the tale. One of the Curiti was betrothed to the sister of Horatius. The battle would be not only between cities, but between brothers and future in-laws, between love and loyalty. With oaths sworn and the people watching in breathless silence, the champions stepped into the space between the armies. The clash was sudden, brutal, and furious. Steel rang out across the plain. Moments later, gasps echoed from the Roman lines. 2 Horatii lay dead. Only one remained. The crowd's joy turned to despair as they saw the surviving Horatius fleeing, the 3 wounded Curiti in pursuit. "Coward!" the Romans cried. "He runs while Rome falls." But they were wrong. Horatius had not fled out of fear, but out of cunning. He knew his enemies were wounded, and his retreat was a trap. As the fastest Curiatius drew close, Horatius turned on him like a lion. A vicious duel followed, and the Alban fell. Then came the second brother. Panting, bleeding, slowed by his wounds, he too fell. Now only one remained. Horatius, bloodied and breathless, raised his sword to the sky and roared, "I have slain 2. Now the 3rd shall fall, and Rome shall rule." With a final cry, he charged and struck down the last of the Curiti. Rome had won. The Albans, stunned by their defeat, honored the pact. Medius bowed to King Tullus and swore Alba's loyalty. The dead were buried where they fell. For generations, their graves stood as monuments to honor, courage, and sacrifice. Back in Rome, celebration erupted. Laurel branches lined the streets. Garlands hung from windows. Flowers rained upon the returning hero as Horatius marched through the city, carrying the enemy's swords and wearing the cloak of the man he had slain. But amid the cheers, one heart was breaking. Horatius's sister, seeing her brother clad in the mantle she had lovingly embroidered for her fiancé, now dead by her brother's hand, cried out in grief, "You've killed him, the man I was to marry. How could you?" Her words, meant in sorrow, struck Horatius like betrayal. "You mourn a man who would have enslaved your city?" He bellowed, "You weep for Rome's enemy while your own brothers lie dead?" In a moment of blinding rage, he drew his sword and killed her where she stood. The city fell into stunned silence. Though a hero in battle, Horatius was now a murderer. He was seized and brought before King Tullus. The king, shocked, declared that Horatius must be judged. 2 magistrates condemned him to death. But Horatius cried out, "Let me be judged by the people of Rome, whose lives I defended. The people gathered, torn between law and loyalty. Then came Publius Horatius, the father, grief-stricken yet unbowed. He stood beside his last living son and faced the crowd. "Romans," he pleaded, "I have lost 2 sons in battle. Shall I now lose the third for defending his country? She mourned an enemy, he defended our people. Shall these hands, which secured your freedom, be chained? Will you kill a man beneath the very weapons he claimed for your glory?" The people, moved by his words and by Horatius's fearless silence, made their decision. They spared him, and so Horatius lived, not untouched by guilt, nor cleansed of his crime, but remembered forever as the man who, through blood and tragedy, secured Rome's supremacy.